Star Wars The Force Awakens is here. Star Wars The Force Awakens is here, and as you guys can tell, this is not the usual place I'm in. This is my house here. I'm not at school right now, it's over Christmas break. And yeah, so I'm just going to do this quickie little spoiler alert. Spoilers, guys. Big spoiler review for Star Wars The Force Awakens. I just saw it. I got back about an hour ago, and now I'm going to be here and review it for you guys. And this is the review. This is the review you've been looking for. The review I've been wanting to do for a long time. So let's jump right into this. First off, the movie starts out, and the opening crawl, the first words you read, Luke Skywalker has vanished. And then from there, it just goes. It tells you about the Republic. The New Republic is a thing, which some of us weren't sure about, if they kind of left or what. So there's the New Republic, and the Resistance is an offshoot of that. Leia, General Leia, as we know her now, is one of the main leaders of that, with Admiral Akbar. We get a cool little cameo from him. He actually says quite a few lines. Yeah, and there's other people that help Leia out. We don't really get their names per se, and they do have names, but I don't remember them off the top of my head. But overall, she is the head of the Resistance, which works in conjunction with the New Republic. Then there's the First Order, which they are the Empire, but they're almost like, if you take the roles from the original trilogy, that the Empire and the Rebels had, flip those. That's what you get in this movie, and it's so good. So the opening scene, I'm going to talk about mainly stuff here. The story revolves around Finn, and Finn is a Resistance fighter. Not a Resistance fighter. He's a First Order trooper, a First Order stormtrooper, who, while in the heat of battle, I believe it's his friend dies, and he gets that mark, that blood-stained mark on his helmet, which is a neat moment and everything. And you see that, and they're all after Poe Dameron, and Poe Dameron is meeting up with Max von Sydow. This is where we first see Max von Sydow, and he eventually gets killed by Kylo Ren. But Max von Sydow gives Poe Dameron, who Poe Dameron eventually gives to BB-8 and tells BB-8 to go, a piece of information, which is part of a map, to find out where Luke Skywalker is. This whole movie is a hunt for Luke Skywalker. Yes! And that's the great thing about it. And then from there, we're off. Poe gets captured and eventually is freed by Finn. And Finn and Poe leave. And everything. Yeah, Finn and Poe leave. And actually, a lot of the shots from the trailers and stuff weren't in the movie, but I'm fine with it, because it's like, okay, if it doesn't serve the purpose of the tone and the shot and everything, I'm okay with them restructuring some scenes from the trailer. And I'll admit I did spoil the movie a bit for myself. Not in story marks, but I knew when things were in a trailer or promotional thing, and I kind of ruined it for myself in that point. But overall, the story was epic and great and gritty, and this lightsaber makes an appearance. Luke's lightsaber, and it's funny how Maz Kanata, and I'm just going all out here on this, but Maz Kanata says to Han Solo, "How did you get that lightsaber?" And she's like, "A story for another time." Well, thanks a lot in telling us how you got the thing. But it's okay not knowing exactly how she got it yet. But I'm sure we will find out in the next movie. Now, one of the big things is, where's Luke Skywalker? Again, Luke's in the movie for a grand total of 1 minute. Hear that? One minute, guys. He's in the movie for a grand total of 1 minute. The very end. The last shot, exactly. So, and we get to that point by Rey is a Force-sensitive person. We don't know if she's related to anyone necessarily. She was just left on Jakku. There's a cool shot where she's marking down a tally of like days, basically. And the whole like side of this thing is like filled with number marks. She's been on Jakku for who knows how long. But we find out she's been there since she was a little girl. So she's been there for a number of years, okay? So she's been there a very long time. And she eventually meets up with Finn because BB-8 comes, and BB-8 has to get this information and everything. And BB-8 realizes the jacket that Finn is wearing is actually Poe Dameron's, because Poe Dameron and Finn help each other leave the First Order starship, or the Star Destroyer, basically. So they do all that. Hux, he's a really interesting character. I'm going way out of order, but Hux is a really cool character, working with Supreme Leader Snoke, who Andy Serkis plays very well, by the way. Not quite sure who Supreme Leader Snoke is. Rumored that he was like a Darth Plagueis. I don't think he's Darth Plagueis. And even though they could have changed the way Darth Plagueis looked. But they make Snoke, and especially in the size and everything of how big Snoke is, because he's only seen in a hologram in the whole movie, which is neat, but you don't get you get a scale of how big this dude is. He's huge, but you're like, wait a minute, like, okay. And the CG on him was actually fine. I'm perfectly fine with the CG on him and Maz Kanata. And Maz Kanata actually was a really cool character as well, and she has this lightsaber. But yeah, in the lightsaber, it's weird. Like, Rey goes to touch it, and she gets this vision. She gets a vision of that shot in the trailer, which is Luke Skywalker, by the way, going and touching R2-D2. She sees the Knights of Ren with Kylo Ren hunting down people, basically. She sees all this stuff. She sees an image of her as a little girl being taken away onto Jakku, and she sees a ship flying away. We don't know who's on that ship, who her family is. But the coolest spoiler in the whole movie has to be Kylo Ren's parents are Han Solo and Princess Leia. Oh my goodness! And Snoke says it. Snoke's the first person who says it. Because they're after BB-8. Really, BB-8 is like the MacGuffin, or not really the MacGuffin, but he's the thing people are after. This little dude right here, if I can get him. This little dude right here, this little pop for him. I love this dude. But they're after BB-8 because BB-8 has this chip which has the location of where Luke Skywalker is. Because that's basically the thing. They're after this chip that has the location of Luke Skywalker on it. And the rest of the map, everybody's got the rest of the map. They're just looking for this last little piece to show where Luke Skywalker is. And that's the whole movie. It's the search for Luke. The whole movie is the search for Luke. Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill says no lines in this movie. But he will have a big presence in Episode 8, I promise you. Because at the end of the movie, which I'm going to get to in a minute, but the end of the movie, that is a great final shot, and it closes, and you're just like, I want more, and it's fantastic. But yeah, back to the whole Kylo Ren's lineage thing. Luke goes and trains Kylo Ren and everything, and apparently that didn't go too well because Kylo Ren turned to the dark side, which is pretty cool. And I love the way they used his lightsaber, like they're in the battle with Finn. He like burns him with the lightsaber. He like twists his lightsaber into him. He's like into Finn. Oh, it's so cool. And then the lightsaber duel between Rey and Kylo Ren is epic. There's a cool shot, and there's a lot of references to the original trilogy and the other films. Somebody says, I got a bad feeling about this. There are a lot of little references. You're just like, oh, look at that. Like, this lightsaber gets stuck in the snow. And Kylo Ren he's like, that weapon is mine. And this is Adam Driver with no mask on. And Adam Driver, like, awesome as Kylo Ren. Awesome. But he goes and, like, force pulls the lightsaber to him. And all of a sudden, it whips past his head. And Rey's holding it. And she's like... And then she turns it on and game on. after Kylo Ren basically bats it out of Finn's hand, because that lightsaber is actually not for Finn. It's for Daisy Ridley, Rey. And I am so happy that we didn't get any backstory about Rey at all. We got glimpses. We got a bit about who the stormtroopers are. They're basically taken from these families now, and they're recruits, but they're basically brainwashed. It's fantastic stuff. And the character that ends up kicking the can, and as many have speculated, is Han Solo. And when I found out who Kylo Ren was, that he was Han Solo's son, I'm like, oh my God, that is amazing. It is fantastic storytelling by J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan. That was fantastic to get that information to again hook our bad guy, one of our bad guys, with an epic hero. The hero of the story and the villain are connected, and Kylo Ren kills his own father. Kylo Ren kills his own father. And in that scene, apparently Kylo Ren's name was Ben. We hear him yell, Ben! And they meet on this like platform, this like long bridge, and there's a huge gigantic hole. And this is in Starkiller Base. And they meet there, and they're talking, and he's like, take off the mask. And he's like, what do you expect to find under that mask? He's like, my son. And it's just so cool. It's so cool. And then he goes over and talks to him, and like they have this moment. And this whole time, the stormtroopers are around, Chewie's there, Finn and Rey are up on this high balcony looking over and everything, and they're like, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah. And then they have this like chat. It's almost like this talk, and it's back and forth, and there's so much tension, and almost like the light how it is on my face kind of right now. And that is not by choice at all. It's just where the light is in my room. But you see how one side is bright and the other is dark. Well, in the movie, and I noticed this, and I was gonna tell my mom, because I was sitting right next to my mom when this happened. I'm like, I was gonna like lean over and say it, but I'm like, no. If I think I know what happens here, I am going to not want to tell her at all. I'm not going to want to tell her about the lighting on Kylo Ren's face. I'm going to want to tell her, I'm not going to want to say anything. I'm just going to want to let it sink in. And all of a sudden, and because it's like red on one side and blue on the other, and you can see Kylo Ren is conflicted about stuff. And there's one scene where Kylo Ren's talking to the Darth Vader mask, and he's like, you can feel the light side almost in him. And there's some great stuff with Kylo Ren, just whipping out his lightsaber, just beating stuff up, because he's a ticking time bomb, basically, and it's fantastic, and I loved it. And Phasma, for the short amount of time she's in it, she's great, and everything. But back to that scene, I'm just scatterbrained all right now. It's so good. But and then back to that scene, all of a sudden, Kylo Ren takes out his lightsaber, and he's holding it, and Han Solo is holding it too, and they're like fighting over it. And all of a sudden, bam, he turns on the lightsaber and kills him. And you hear Finn and Rey like, no! And then all of a sudden, everybody, things blowing up. And all while this is going on, the X-Wings and everything, and Poe Dameron and everybody are coming in, and they're doing, like, there's a lot of shots that were in the trailer, I will say, that aren't in this movie. And that's almost a good thing. I think we got a glimpse of what things were, but from a different angle. And I think that's really great storytelling. Like, that whole shot in that first trailer of Kylo Ren walking through the forest, and then he whips out the lightsaber. Yeah, that's not in the movie. But it's a great setup to all of a sudden you see Finn and Rey walking through that snowy forest, and all of a sudden, which is on Starkiller Base, by the way, which you see them and everything, and they hear the lightsaber, and they see Kylo Ren just standing there with it there. It's fantastic. And the movie plays the arcs of all the characters very well. I believe, and it leaves it almost unknown. But you think, from what I've gathered, I think Kylo Ren lives. I believe he lives. I'm going to say he lives. Because he can't die. He's Han Solo's kid, for crying out loud. He can't die. He can't die in this movie. I don't think he does, at least. Hux lives, as far as we know, because they didn't really go back to those characters. Like, you see Hux go to Snoke's, to like the where Snoke's thing is, basically. And he's like hologrammed in. You only see Snoke like 3 times in the movie, but he's like hologrammed in. And he's this huge thing, and Kylo Ren's looking up at him and everything. And Snoke is the one who actually reveals that it is Han Solo, who is Kylo Ren's father. He's like the captain of the Millennium Falcon. He's like, they stole away on the Millennium Falcon. Yeah, the droid with Rey and Finn and everything went away with the droid on the Millennium Falcon, captained by your father, Han Solo. And then I'm like, because I was half expecting Rey to be related to somebody. That's what I was thinking in the movie, but because she's looking for her family, whoever her family is, we'll find out. I'm guessing we'll find out eventually. But so good. It was so good. It was fresh. It was different. It was new. I liked a lot of the cameos. I liked a lot of the references were fantastic. There was a moment there I thought they were gonna shoehorn some kind of love relationship between Finn and Rey, but because the way that they act and everything. But it seems like Rey is very much a Princess Leia character, like a strong character, who has that in her, but they never explore a relationship, which I'm glad they didn't. And it seems like their relationship is, you saved my life, I saved yours, we're friends. Nothing more than that. And I'm fine with that. And there doesn't need to be a love story in Star Wars, always. I think the love story in this movie, the family story in this movie, was Kylo Ren, Princess Leia, Han Solo. That was like the love story. This love story was Han Solo and Princess Leia. And there's some great exchange between them. And Carrie Fisher plays that character great once again. It's fantastic. Now, the end of the movie, let's get into that. The end of the movie, after Starkiller Base is blown up, which actually Starkiller Base is pretty cool. It's not utilized a whole lot. It blows up a Coruscant-esque planet. It does, or a star system, I should say, which is really cool. It beams out these like multiple beams, and it hits each one. It's a really cool effect that they did. But the Starkiller Base, it's not a third Death Star in a way. It's a cooler thing because it harnesses the power of a sun. It takes a sun, a star killer base. Get that. Think about that. It kills a star to get its energy to destroy a planet. And it's not like, oh, they're getting close to the time and everything. It wasn't even as close as, per se, the original Death Star was to blowing up Yavin. It was like, because remember, like, they had gotten around, it was like, oh, fire when ready. And then literally they're charging up the weapon. It was like a second away from firing, and it blows up. This is like, okay, there's more time, at least. So what ends up happening is they end up blowing up this, like, reactor thing, which is on the surface. And the TIE Fighter, the X-Wings can't really blow it up right away. So Han Solo, Rey, and Finn, and Chewbacca all have to go inside this thing, plant charges and everything, and blow it up from the inside. And the X-Wings go, and there is a mini trench run and everything, but then all the ships pan off, and it's a really cool thing. But then Poe goes in and blows up stuff, and big explosions and stuff and everything. Eventually that thing explodes. Hux and everybody, and a lot of the First Order people actually evacuate, which we believe they get off the base. I'm going to assume they get off the base. A lot of them evacuate and leave. I believe Kylo Ren lives. It's unknown. We'll find out. It's almost an ending similar to the A New Hope. Okay, well, we don't know who all lived. We see that, one of the bad guys, Darth Vader lived in that movie, but it's not really shown in this movie, so it's just the way it is. But at the end of the movie, you see R2-D2 come back, and it's a great moment. R2-D2 comes back, and you see little BB-8 and everything. It's like, hey, R2, how you doing? And it's fantastic. Then R2 and BB-8 work together. They put this map together, and it shows where Luke Skywalker is. Rey and Chewbacca now having the Millennium Falcon. fly to where Luke is, which is on Skellig Michael Island, actually. I noticed that. It's like this water planet with these islands and everything. It's really neat. And she's walking around and everything, and then she walks up and she stops. And the music builds, and then you see this figure, like right here. It's like, ah! It's like, it's Luke, and then he turns around and everything. She takes out the lightsaber, and like hands it to him and everything. And she takes out the lightsaber and like hands it to him, like puts it out and everything. He takes up and you see his mechanical hand and everything. It looks almost like Anakin's hand from Episode 2. It looks like, but it's like silver. And he takes his hood off and everything, and then they just look at each other. And then there's this cool sweeping like helicopter shot going around the place and everything, and then and then it goes right into the credits. And everybody, I swear, everybody in the theater was like, "Oh!" And a lot of people clapped and everything. The movie was funny. It was great. I loved. There was so many great moments and great. Poe Dameron was great. I like when Poe first meets Kylo Ren. I could go on forever talking about this movie, but like I love when Poe first meets Kylo Ren. He's like, "Well, what? Do I start talking or I can't read you." Like he can't read like with his mask. Or it was geniusly funny, and there was a lot of laughs in this movie, like good laughs and whatnot. My only gripe, and it's not really a bad thing because we'll eventually see them in the next movie. The Knights of Ren were like that big in the movie. I know, they're like in one shot, and I'm like, ugh. Like, but that's not even a gripe. That's just, I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to see them, but I know I'm going to see them in the future. Same with Snoke. I didn't get a whole lot of Snoke. What I got, I loved, but it was just a lot of little stuff. Like, nothing like, oh, well, that storyline didn't work, or this didn't work. The transitions were great. J.J. Abrams, you are a genius. Thank you, sir, for making this movie, writing this movie with the great Lawrence Kasdan. You wrote a great movie. You made a great movie. Again, 10 out of 10, A+. You did it. You made a fantastic film that not only I'm going to go see another 5 times in the theater, then I'm eventually going to buy it on Blu-ray and watch it another 50,000 times. You know, there's just so many great moments and great lines in this movie. I can't recommend it enough. Obviously, if you're watching this spoiler review, you shouldn't have, you know, unless you saw the movie. So again, I cannot recommend this movie enough. Go back and see it again. If you've obviously already seen it, go see it again and see what you catch. And I've talked to a couple of people, and I've heard some people say the second viewing, you catch a lot more. You catch things like, I was paying it full attention. I just remember right when the movie starts up, and there's no like Disney logo, no Bad Robot logo. All the trailers happen, which there were too many trailers, by the way. Thank you. And actually, I didn't like not many of the trailers. There was a Zootopia one, but it went too long. I got the joke. Okay, the DMV. It's funny. If you haven't seen that one, it is funny. Check out the Zootopia trailer. And it's good. But the one problem was, then where there were a lot of trailers, and my mom isn't a huge superhero person. She likes the superhero movies and stuff, and I do too. The X-Men trailer on the big screen, no. The Captain America trailer on the big screen worked, but I'll tell you right now, the trailers that didn't work for me on the big screen, that Batman vs. Superman trailer didn't work on the big screen. It did not work out. And even the Warcraft trailer was okay on the big screen, but it's like, that wasn't that good. Like, and I saw a Star Wars trailer before on the big screen. I'm like, it works. Like, it worked on the big screen because the movie's fantastic. My only problem is all those trailers didn't work on the big screen. And I'm so glad I was watching Star Wars, because I quickly, as soon as a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I like the insides of me were just like, oh my goodness. And then, And it's great. And then you see episode 7, The Force Awakens. Luke Skywalker has vanished, and you're like, we're in. That crawl was fantastic. It's a great read to start the movie, and I was engaged in every single line. And then we pan down, and you see the shadow of a ship. And it's great. And I will leave you at that on the spoiler review. Again, if you have anything I didn't talk about, except there's bound to be something I didn't talk about that I forgot about. I already mentioned a lot of it, but there was some just great stuff in this movie. I'm going to see it again. I'm going to buy it when it comes out. It was fantastic. It added a lot to the franchise, and hopefully Rian Johnson takes some notes from J.J. Abrams and makes another fantastic Star Wars movie, and so does Gareth Edwards with Rogue One. And I can't wait. Now I got to wait a year and a half. And I'm glad it's only a year and a half and not 3 years like I had, or 10 years like I had to wait for this one. But again, guys, if you like this video, please hit that like button below. Subscribe to my channel. You can see more neat videos. I'm going to make some more Star Wars videos. After I see the movie again, I'll probably go back and just mention little things. And again and again and again, I'll just make little videos and stuff. I do some trailer reviews, and you guys can check all that stuff out. So yeah, subscribe to my channel, and there's some pretty cool stuff over there already. Again, I'm going to say it, repeat myself. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, comment below what you thought of The Force Awakens, because this is the spoiler review, guys. Again, comment below about what you liked about the movie, what you didn't like, where you think it's all going to go next. I don't know where it's going to go next, other than the fact I know that Rey is going to be trained by Luke Skywalker. Oh boy, I can't wait. Again, guys, I love this movie. It was fantastic. It was everything I wanted it to be. It was fantastic, and I cannot wait for episode 8. And I will leave you guys with this. If you guys are going to end up going out to the movies and everything, please be safe and have a happy holidays, and I will see you all next time. Bye.